Totally Rad started in 2020.
It just kept growing in attendance and vendors. Do you guys think we can tour this?
We had to beg people to come to Omaha.
And then you're just picking up cues from like these different towns.
We've had times where like shows weren't good.
We don't have investors. So the 5-year party, we're going to Surly Festival Field.
Heck yeah.
Biggest brewery in the state. Hundreds of vendors, free admission, live music, Surly beer. Who knows what's next?
What's next? We gonna do another show or what?
We're just gonna start with like how it started and then we'll riff from there. So
Cool.
Totally Rad started in 2020. And the way I remember it, and y'all can interrupt me if I'm wrong. I remember we were going to the Savers in Columbia Heights, Minnesota, and we had met Viennie together at the t-shirts. And then I was staying home for some reason another day. And y'all met just the two of you. And from my perspective, Andy came home and he was like, yo, I gotta tell you this. And I'm like, what? You know, I'm thinking it's gonna be some stupid t-shirt he found at the thrift or whatever. And he's like, Viennie works at Familia. He works at the skate park. And I'm like, okay, you know, like that's great, good for Vin. And he's like, no, he wants to do a vintage pop-up there. And I told him we could help him do that. And I was like, wait, what? And all of a sudden my ears perk up.
Yep.
I'm like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, he works at the skate park. Says we can do a pop-up at the parking lot. We think it'd be cool. And I'm like, yeah, we could do something here. That would be a cool thing to do. It's the pandemic. We got nothing going on. But I have no idea what happened in that thrift store, what y'all did.
I feel like we were just doing the normal thing, right? You like comb the rack, you're just kind of like going down. And the way these racks are, they're double racks in the aisles. So you can kind of see over and whatever. And Viennie was on one side. You were on one side and I was on the other, and we were kind of just like passing each other.
Yeah.
We were kind of just picking opposite aisles, and I don't know, we were just chatting. Like, hey, do I know you? Like, hey, I've seen you here before, things like that.
Yeah, I don't know who brought it up first. Maybe you or me, but.
And somehow we were just like talking about it, and I think the way it kind of came to fruition was like, you said, well, I got a spot. And then I said, well, we know how to throw events, and
yeah,
you know,
the event thing. Yeah, you were saying something about knowing how to do events, and I'm like, I just want to do a pop-up or something, dude, or something like that.
yeah.
I have the space for it.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got to that point though.
I know, that's wild to go from like, hey, how are you, to like,
Yeah.
I don't know how we talked about like, hey, we should do a pop-up.
Yeah, no, I don't recall.
But it
kind of just like slid right into there.
it was meant to be. That's what I tell myself.
Yeah.
Like,
But I remember seeing you guys at Salvation Army in line. You guys are in front of me, and I've never seen you guys before. And I, you know, I know a lot of people who thrift in the city at that time, and I don't know.
Yeah, I think we just kind of like ran into each other around town, and
maybe I saw you guys like couple days there, and then and that's why maybe like it kind of warmed me up to come up to you.
Yeah.
At Savers or something and say what up.
Yeah,
because we used to do it really lightly, because we were working full-time gigs.
I would just go on like
work.
discount day. Like we would just go on discount day and find stuff and whatever, and then
put it on Poshmark.
And then we had more time, like, because, you know, I didn't have anything going on, and like most people, and so we went all the time, and we started running into you more.
And then we just like did it. I remember we were like, we're just gonna do free admission, free to vend, no vendor fee.
Yeah, it was all free, which was like the crazy part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know, shout out you and the rest of the community. Like, it was kind of just like this, hey, it was kind of this like
who sells
little
this
like
stuff?
Underlying like telephone call between the community of like, hey, who's like selling vintage in Minneapolis? Do they want to pop up here? We're going to have a pop up. And you hit up all your people.
Oh yeah, we did.
You know, and it was kind of like everybody kind of like was like,
I don't
okay,
get
let's
how-
try it.
I don't get how fines, you know.
They came from Bro Bros.
Yeah, shout out Bro Bros because they
Shout
brought
out Bro Bros
shout
Closet
out Bro
big
Bros
time
Closet.
because they were like, oh, we got people. They brought fines.
Oh, they did. I
crisps,
remember that.
like Ice Cream Snow.
Ice Cream Snow.
Like those guys.
And the thing that was crazy about the first pop-up is that Urban Jungle was there.
Urban Jungle was set up.
We had
Jeffy,
Urban Jungle, Field
Jeffy
House
set
was
up.
there.
Oh yeah. The early
Yeah,
days
and so
of
it's just
that.
like a crazy conglomeration of like
It was a
people.
weird group, but like none
and
of
like
us really
people
knew
didn't-
each other.
People like knew each other online. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like I remember that. Like people were like, yo, I know you, but like I don't know you. And so like people were able to meet in person.
Yeah.
It was kind of like face to the page type thing back then, which was
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Because Coop came to that show, didn't he? Maybe it was one of the
buy,
second ones.
maybe?
It was
Like-
one of the second ones. He came to shop because I remember he came up to me after the show and was like, yeah, this was crazy because I've been selling online doing my lives and then I'm walking around the show and your vendors and attendees are like, Coop, let me get a pic. Yo, Coop Cap's Closet.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was like that was back in the like online Instagram live days. And so you know,
just
people
didn't
were
really
like
know
doing lives
people.
online and it was like a totally different thing. And
Yeah.
then we were doing these live events where, you know, it was like in person selling, which was totally different. So
Yeah, it was cool.
it was cool. And like I don't know if you guys have anything more to say about that first one, but like, you know, in my personal interview, I said some things about like things were crazy. Like we planned it all out.
Yeah.
We did the ads and everything that we needed to do, got the people, and then it snowed the week of, and we were like, yo,
It
can
was
we still
30
do
degrees
this?
outside. Yeah.
Yeah.
We almost
The
canceled.
lot was actually pretty clear that day. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember. There was a little pile of snow in the corner, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the sign in it.
Yeah.
The sign.
Oh yeah, there was. Yeah.
It like doubled as the fence.
had, like-
Everyone had to have a mask. We had a thing of masks. Everyone hand sanitizer was
Yep.
everywhere.
Yep.
And then Luke and Jazz came out to help us run the gate
Yep.
because you could only have so many people in the space at
Yeah.
a time. So they were standing there in the cold, no gloves on their hands, like running the
Counting
ticker
people.
to see how many people
Yeah.
went in. And then it was like one in, one out with this long line for so long. It was a real orchestrated. Like I was really grateful I had run events before
It was
because
crazy. Like, do you remember the water wave guys coming up and they were doing a whole vlog? Like, have you ever seen the vlog?
of the first one,
Go out and look for the water wave vlog of our Twin Cities Vintage Fest event. It's really good. Ricky, shout out Ricky. That was like sweet.
the first one,
Yeah, of the first one, they like walk up and they're like, yo, what's this line? And they like walk past the whole line and they're like, it's really good. Go check it out. It's on YouTube.
that's
Wow,
funny.
I gotta see that.
Yeah,
On
I
their
gotta
page,
see
yeah,
that.
check that out.
And they
It's cool.
Waterwave started in 2022.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was really cool. That event was super cool. Everybody came out. I thought it was really fun. Vendors did well.
Well, and then we did the skate park, 4 times?
We did it 3 more times.
Three
and
more
I think
times?
that like
Okay.
those to me those are the early days. Those are some of my favorite memories of the show and the event is because like the first one, you know, was a fun pop-up in October and then we kind of waited all winter and we made some things and we did some different things.
Y'all built
and
the handicap ramp.
that was like between April and July because one of our vendors, his brother is in a wheelchair and like he wasn't able to access half of the show. And so we wanted to make sure that like the whole show was handicap accessible. And so between 2 of the shows, we literally built a handicap ramp at the back of Familia.
Yeah, it was like
out
you
of scrap
two
wood,
and
out of like
Steve.
scrap ramp wood.
Yeah.
That was cool.
It's still holding strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just remember our photo on the first show together, and we're wearing masks.
It almost kills me that we're wearing masks.
I know. We're like kind of like just
Because you can't see how young we look.
no.
We just look mysterious. Or like when Carl Anthony Towns and Jordan Woods came.
That July event
that
was
was
like
crazy.
And
one
I'm
of
like,
the
I've got this pic, but they're wearing a mask.
That was the point. That July show was the point, right? Like we had so many crazy things. Kat and Jordan showed up. They went to every single booth, interacted with every vendor, bought something from most people. Like it was really cool to have that experience. It rained during that show multiple times.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
every time it rained, people would go from out in the parking lot to in the skate park to out in the parking lot. And it was like this cool like flow of the event.
Oh,
Somebody
wow.
had a giant $5 pile in the mini pipe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Like-
yeah, I remember that. It was raining that day. Yeah.
Or I used to make everybody go around. So the vendors would set up on Friday. The show would be on Saturday. And there was a mic at the skate park. And Vinny would bring me the mic. We used to have a little pizza party. And I would start with the mic. I'd be like, look, I know you're going to hate me and this is going to feel like elementary school, but I want us all to go around the room. I want you to say your name, your business name, what you sell, and what you collect. And like, I still remember Aileen from Daily Dose saying she collected Picasso scarves. And now when I see Picasso scarves, which I haven't even seen any, I'm like, okay, I got to remember. If I see one, I got to bring one to Aileen. And like, people thought I was, they were definitely annoyed, but it was part of like why everyone knows each other. I was like, I know this is annoying, but like, I want to know what you collect, because if I find it, I'll bring it to you. Like, it helped open the doors for these communications. Like, a lot of us just like digging bins and touching clothes. Like, I don't really want to.
You don't necessarily always interact with all the other vendors and stuff because you got stuff going on yourself. But to have that moment of like, hey, my name's Andy, I sell this, and I love Lucy t-shirts or whatever.
We started doing that
is,
the second show?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
the first one we didn't
the
do
pass
that.
around the mic thing.
Yeah, we only did it a couple times. It's a moment in time. For
It is
sure.
a moment in time for sure.
And it was cool, those skate park days. Like, this is if you can see up in the corner in this map, like, this is the map of the event that we had. And that's the last show we had at the skate park, right? It was October. So we did an April, a July, and an October. And it first started as like little, and then it got a little bit bigger in July. And then it got like really big in October, and we took all the space we could. Steve was like, this is it, dude. Steve's the owner of Familia. Like, he's like, this is it. I can't give you any more space.
Yeah.
We had people parking like a block away in this like parking lot we asked somebody to use.
No, we used to mess up Hennepin so bad.
People were parking on Hennepin when it's no parking. Like, it just.
There was that one lady that drove there from Colorado. She parks. You're not supposed to park on Hennepin. She drives to I think she just felt the vibes, because she parks on Hennepin, pops up out the sunroof, and she's like listening to music. She had a dog. At one point, she was sleeping on the hood. There's a video clip somewhere of this lady in my records.
You
I'll
gotta
have to find it.
Because
someone was like, who is that? Should we tell her to move? I was like, I'm not telling her to move. That's the police.
That was something.
That's the road. I don't have nothing
someone
to do
parked
with the
on
road.
that on Hennepin, and then all of a sudden everyone parked on Hennepin. It was insane.
Oh, it was so cool, like those events, right? Because we just like, it just kept growing in attendance and vendors, and like, the square footage, it just kept growing and growing, and like we outgrew the space.
We did.
And that was when we first went to the convention center. We were like, all right, well, what's next, right?
Oh God.
To keep it around here, the only space big enough is like to go to the convention center. So we did that in January of 2022. Yeah. And that also, like, now there was like new rules and regulations that we had to follow, and like I think we had like 90 vendors there, and
but we had to have the 6 feet. So this was crazy. The first convention center show was the one, like the one heard round the world, at least in my head, because we went to the convention center. It was huge. It was still uneasy COVID time, so we still had to have masking. The booths were 6 feet apart. We didn't have the curtain. We didn't have the fence that we used to have. So it was just raw racks or tables of toys in a giant concrete hall. And that was all we had at the time, except for the few production pieces like we physically built.
There was a couple. And was that was, I think, when we started building the stuff in the St. Paul warehouse.
Yeah, we like rented a studio for a month.
Yep.
The three of us would just get together every night and build. We built the bedrooms.
Yep.
We built the benches.
Oh my goodness. That's like bringing me back.
Marzia had already painted the stuff from the Familia days.
Yep.
We'd build it and paint it outside of Familia the day before the show.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That was that.
And then Will
painted at the St. Paul spot.
Yep.
Yep.
We got a couple more of the boards with the graffiti on it. The arcade,
and that was our
had kind of
production
been,
at the time.
Built a little bit, and that was about it.
We had an arcade?
We had an arcade forever. We had an arcade under a 10x10 Easy Up.
Oh yeah, we did. We had like two
Back in the
N64s like back under an Easy
That was
Up.
crazy.
That was the video. It was the vintage video game station
The N64?
then. Yeah.
Oh my! All this is like coming back.
I
That's
know.
kinda
Like
crazy.
it's the memories are coming back.
Yeah, you saying that we didn't have a fence in the first convention show and all that. Wow.
Well, and that was the show that like went crazy. We had 10,000 people come
Yeah, it was crazy.
that day.
Yeah.
And it was like you couldn't tell where the walkways were because there was no way to put vendors next to each other.
Yeah.
And I remember walking around and seeing people like go under racks and through racks and around shit. And I'm like, oh my God, like as someone who's been doing events for so long and who deals with vendor feedback and customer feedback, I was like,
Looking back on
I'm
it,
screwed. Like, this
it's
is crazy.
like the most, I don't know,
We learned a lot.
nerve-wracking kind of anxiety-inducing experience, but we learned a lot and it was great. And now we're all the better.
There was someone who had came into the store. It might have been Sebastian who came into the store, and he hadn't been to a show before, or he had been to one Totally Rad before, or Twin Cities Vintage Fest at the time. He's like, yeah, or no, it wasn't Sebastian, because I remember whoever this was kind of like being a hater. They're like, oh, that show, like they didn't know who I was. They were like, oh, that show is like, it's so chaotic. It looks so stupid like that. I was like, well, which one did you go to? And he said that January show. And I was like, dude, it's so different now. Like, and because I like personally know that was our first time in the convention center. And we had so many people come and there was no organization at the time. And now it's like, now we have a well-oiled machine.
Yeah. Do you remember, I'm looking at this map off screen right now, and it's actually of that show.
That's that show, yeah.
And do you remember that for the museum area, we used to have vendors submit
oh yeah, the gallery.
their favorite pieces?
Oh, wow,
yeah. That was cool.
One of the coolest things, right? Because a lot of times vendors will own items that they find very valuable or very nostalgic to them. And so they're not for sale, but they kind of just live in your closet or live on body when you're wearing it. And so this was an interesting, unique way for people to be able to show off these items, like in a place where it's like, hey, these aren't for sale necessarily, but
they're cool.
We want to show you them, you know. And I thought that was always really cool. We got some cool stuff.
I just wanted to put my own
there.
personal
That's definitely a little moment in time as well.
Yeah.
That we don't do anymore.
Yeah,
No.
It was cool. I remember Gavin was like, he brought out a Biggie wrap tee and then like some 60 selvage bell bottoms.
Yeah.
And he was like so nervous because Gavin was like, I don't want to put it in the gallery because someone's just going to steal it. I was like, dog, I have a security guard that I pay to stand there all day. Like your stuff's not going to get stolen.
Yeah, there's somebody watching.
And he finally put stuff in, and his booth was close to the gallery, so he could like look at it the whole time.
So then what happened next, right? We did this show at the convention center, and like I said in some other conversations, it's like the show we kept following the lead of the show. So we outgrew Familia, we went to the convention center.
Well, and I gotta say, I think that you do a very good job of that, of like, we collect the feedback and we listen to our attendees and our vendors, like, what do you guys want? We have to look at it through the lens of the business, of course, but what do you want? What's the next step? How can we answer your needs? And that was it was get bigger, Familia's too small, no AC or whatever.
Yeah.
And we moved to the convention center, and then...
Well, at that point, after the convention center show, I think we all sat down with each other and we're like, yo, I think we have something here.
Yeah.
Like, based on our background of doing touring shows, like, do you guys think we can tour this? And that was in January, like, I swear, because after January, that was the time where we decided we could tour it. We started booking fall 2022 with that 9-city run. We planned the rebrand at that point in time because we did another show at the convention center in April.
Yeah.
And then immediately following that April is when we announced Totally Rad versus what used to be Twin Cities Vintage Fest.
Yeah.
And we took it out on the road and
we had to, I want to just hit this so hard. We had to beg people to come to Omaha. We had 12 vendors. Something crazy like that. Like we were like, because people thought Andy and I were crazy.
We had 13 vendors.
They were
they
like,
all thought,
no city's going to be like Minneapolis. We're not going to be able to make money anywhere. And we're like, dude, we have been in touring entertainment. Like, you can't be like, hey, I used to work for Cirque du Soleil, but like, I used to work for Cirque du Soleil.
Like, trust me.
Trust me, you're going to bring your stuff to Omaha and sell it to people there.
We had to go face to face to like almost all 13 of those vendors and be like, look, trust me, if I'm wrong, never do my show again.
You can punch me square in the face.
But trust me, this is going to work.
Yep.
And you, me, and 11 other people.
And I can name them all right now.
Decided that they're gonna give it a shot, and
it was great.
It was crazy. That show was insane.
It was insane.
Like I say it all the time. I like the look in the vendor's face, and sometimes you can see this like ecstatic, excited, wide-eyed look in vendors' faces when things are going really well.
Yeah.
And you just walked around that show from open to close, and everybody's face was just like, oh my gosh, How's
Like
it going?
Christmas.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, so that was one for the books, and honestly, that one I think cemented in some of the vendors that have been with us at 90% of the shows since then.
Yeah.
I think that was the one that did it.
Yeah.
It did.
You know?
Yeah.
And just like, you know, other vendors caught wind
Yeah.
and they just, you know, they felt
The FOMO.
yeah, the FOMO, just missing out that day,
Yeah.
that event.
It was fun, and then we just kept going. We went to new cities. We figured it out. You know, there was a lot of like lessons along the way.
Yeah, let's not glaze over that this was also hard as shit, but we did it.
It was hard. Like, we learned a lot. We always figured it out.
It's a lot of moving parts, man. You have, you know, us before we really had employees, so taking care of us, and then
Shout out
taking care of
Marcus.
our
If you guys
vendors.
don't know Marcus, you need to meet Marcus at one of the shows.
He's gonna hate you for that.
I know. So yeah, shout out Marcus. He's been with us since that Omaha show.
Yep.
He's always been a critical piece of the vintage community here in Minneapolis, and you know, he volunteered to help out, and
He didn't volunteer.
He didn't volunteer,
He
we
was
hired
employee
him,
number
you know
one.
what I mean?
Andy hired him at the bins, yo.
I hired
That's
him
a
at the
crazy
bins,
story.
yeah.
He was just like, you know, Marcus, Andy and I didn't go to the bins a lot. So Andy and I are at the bins. He likes to do the front, you know, if you go to the bins, you know, they change out the bins for the new rotation, and then it's kind of aggressive, not aggressive, but it's competitive. Like, people are waiting, ready to eat the food, the clothes. And I don't like that. So I like to just start at the first bin and go through. Well, Andy and Marcus, it always happens that you're talking to somebody far away from me and things happen. That's crazy.
see, that's how
Andy
it's
and
gotta
Marcus
be.
were talking, and somehow all of a sudden he's like, yeah, I asked Marcus if he would be interested in working with us and going on the road,
Yep.
and he's hired. He's employee number one. I was
Yeah.
just like, what?
Then we started like building stuff for the shows like right after that. You know, Marcus and I were working in production, and Vinnie, you were there in production, and the three of us kind of just were like building stuff.
And we were building
Getting
what, the
ready for
museum
Omaha.
then?
Yeah, we built like the museum stuff.
No.
I think we worked on like maybe more like arcade stuff. I don't know. Like, I think we built things for Omaha. I don't know what it was though.
And just like
I don't know what it was.
meshing together, we worked really well together.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are.
And just like really good friends, that's all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what's
from the
nice about
jump.
it.
Yeah.
That's what's nice about it here is that it's not like Andy and I come from a corporate world, so we kind of live that life. But then I have to remind myself a lot, like, I'm here and I'm working with my friends, and this is fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard work, but it's also really fun. So like, relax into it a little bit, and that I really love. And I think Marcus brings that vibe really well.
Yeah, he does.
Really,
Yeah.
really well. He's like, yo, he grilled at the office yesterday. You missed it.
Yeah.
I know.
It was great.
Yeah. So like we went to Omaha.
9 cities.
And we did 9 cities that year. We were doing like 1 city a month kind of thing, something like that.
Yeah, yep. We would take the
Oh.
whole summer off.
And and then after that, we took the whole summer off.
Yep.
And it was cool, you know, because we started in the Midwest, and then we started expanding. You know, you guys remember the
Midwest,
first
yeah.
Cleveland show?
Oh my God.
That was the
Yeah.
first time we ever went over 10 hours from the city, and like.
Yeah,
was
that
the
was the
whole
farthest
thing.
one, and then we did Secaucus, New Jersey. That
The
was
next
the
year
furthest
we did
one.
that, you know. The next year we did what, 17 cities or something like that? 16 cities last year?
Yeah.
And I enjoyed seeing people's styles in those towns.
Yeah.
We're so used to like the Midwest area,
Yeah.
and then you're just picking up cues from like these different towns of just like
It's different.
it's
it
just
really
different.
is.
It's just different.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And if you're stuck at home, you know, travel some more. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's been really cool too to see, like, I don't know. I've been touring before, so I know what it's like to tour with a group of people, and I don't tour as much as, like, you know, we have some vendors that do every single show, like Walker, Hunter, Cam. They're like a little gang that does every single show now, and watching them experience the country in the way that I had experienced it when I was their age is like, it's so cool. And like, they're all gonna come to Vegas.
Yep.
We're like, all right, we're gonna do the West
in the
Coast
car.
now, and they're like, okay, boop, I'm there.
Get in the car.
And that's just, they're gonna have so much fun. And then
Yeah.
it's funny too, because they see it differently than me. Like, I'm like, oh, we're gonna go to Colorado, Utah, Vegas. It's gonna be so cool, the national parks. And they're like, well, is the picking any good? I was like,
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you, dude. I've seen some crazy thrift stores
You'll
out
pick.
there.
I know those guys. Like one of the things that I've talked to them, right, and they'll be between cities, and I'm like, what did you guys do last week? And they're like, oh, I went to the bins in the city. I met like a bunch of the local sellers. I bought wholesale off like 5 different guys and gals, and then now I'm here.
Yeah.
And it's like it's cool to hear that like they're meeting people in the community and the ties that they're making all across the country while they're traveling as well.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, this is quite the amoeba we have here.
And like what? So last year we did 16 cities in that season, and then like we took the summer off to kind of finish our production for our show or what we wanted to do, and then now we're just on the road, right?
Yeah, you tell me. You're the one who books the shows.
I don't know. I feel like we're just
I just sell the ticket.
now we're on the road, like the tour. Sometimes vendors always look at us and me, and they're like, "Hey, so like the tour's over, right?" And it's like last year it would be. We finished in Fargo, and that was kind of it.
Yeah.
And then this year people are like, "It's over, right?" And then we announced the 4-city West Coast tour, and then they're like, "Okay, it's over, right?" Well,
nope.
I think it's just going to keep going. So
Yeah.
That'll be
We'll just
announced
keep
by the
doing it.
time this goes out. So.
yeah. So then we have like the summer tour dates.
Summer
and
2.0.
Then there's the fall, and it's just gonna kind of keep going. And we've heard from vendors, some of those diehards, they're just like, don't ever
You can't
do
stop
a break
ever,
like this
yeah.
ever again. You got to keep going.
Yeah.
We got to keep going. So yeah, it's fun and exciting. That's where we are now, just constantly on tour doing 30.
Well, 5 years feels
so many shows.
feels like so long. Like when I first sat down on this couch, I was like, life after Totally Rad. What the hell was that? But like, it's only 5 years.
It's only been 5 years. Yeah, it's like, it's
But
a
it's
long
also
time,
it's an important like statistic. Like most small businesses, like if once you make it past 5 years, you've like made it
Yeah.
past when most small businesses fail. And while we're doing big things, we are in fact a small business. So it's kind of cool to be like, oh, we're still here, we're still kicking, and we're continuing to get bigger.
Yeah, things shift
Yeah.
all the time. It's like,
Exciting and scary, but
we ask any vendors that have been doing this for a while, we've had times where like shows weren't good.
oh,
It's not always a win.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. And I think we've learned a lot through that process, and thank God we made it to here. And
Those are the first 3 years are like
keep
baby
moving.
steps,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and sometimes you make a bad choice.
you just got to learn from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Baby steps is a good way to put it. Now it feels like ginormous.
Now
I guess
we're-
it's like
now we're in that.
exponential.
Yeah.
First it was little steps, and now it's like, yeah, we're taking little steps, but they're actually humongous because
Yeah.
we're already here.
what was the most challenging thing that you guys
Honestly, I'll go right ahead. I'll go right into it. Fall 2023 was the hardest couple months of my life. Was it 2023? 2024?
2023.
2023. So we were right before the election started, and it was our second year on the road. We had just had a great first year out on the road. We were expanding to some new markets, and my marketing just wasn't quite hitting the way it was. And when you enter an election season, things change. The landscape changes. And our first couple shows in the fall were rough. We were asking some vendors to come all the way out to Little Rock, which was our furthest drive at the time. And it was one of our worst shows historically in terms of vendor profit. And that's something I wear and I think about constantly. That keeps me going, because as vendors ourselves, I don't want to tell my friends to come all the way to Little Rock, Arkansas, a city which I love.
Mm-hmm.
They have their gas, their expenses, their hotel, their product. They're paying me to be there, and they're trusting me to bring people there, and then I just didn't deliver. Like that was the worst. And that happened 1 show, 2 show, 3 show, 4 show. It was just back to back to back to back blows to the face. And that sucked. Really bad for me. And I also do vendor relations at that time before we had Ainsley. I was doing vendor relations and also the person responsible for selling the tickets. So I was getting the feedback that, oh, nobody's here, they're not doing any marketing, screw you. and that's directly about me. It was a real somersault of emotional fortitude or strength. And thankfully, I took the time to really sit with it and look at it and look at my marketing and determine what the heck was going on with the Hagen team to get new ads out. And we did it. We flipped it around. That winter was great. So it was a dark time. We almost lost the company at that time.
Yeah.
So for me, that was the greatest challenge because it was an emotional challenge for me. I was like, you guys are my friends and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry we're standing in a convention center looking at each other and thinking, what the are we doing?
Yeah.
So that was tough, but we made it.
We
here.
got
5 years
better.
later, we got here. We got here.
We got over the election. It got better.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
What about you, Vin? Any challenges out on the road?
Basically just vending at the same time and setting up the show.
Yeah.
And just just got to do the vending part, talk to the customers, and then after that I'm got to break down the whole set.
It's a lot, isn't it?
It's a lot.
Right?
It's a lot.
Where normally you might go in and take 2 hours to set up your booth and then 10 hours to sell and then an hour to take it down.
Yeah.
You
It's
got
a long
an extra,
day. It's a
10
long
in the
day.
front and 4 in the back.
Yeah. Well, and you drove the truck.
Yeah,
And then
and the
you're
truck
driving, too.
driving, and so I don't know how I did it, and I don't think I can do that again.
No.
It was crazy. It was crazy. It was
Yeah.
like we did what we had to do kind of thing.
Yeah, we
right?
just did it.
I was so scared,
We
y'all.
just figured it
I was
out.
like, I do not like y'all driving these trucks. I do not mess with that.
Yo, we learned a lot.
Because I used to
You
fly.
learn a lot about.
I used to fly in and land, and y'all would be like, how's the flight? I'm like, I'm not even going to answer that question because I know that the truck was
Yeah,
not-
you just learn a lot about what rules and regulations and stuff like that.
Yeah, on
we
the
used to
road.
drive U-Haul trucks, and then it was Enterprise trucks.
Enterprise
and
trucks.
We got pulled over a couple times. I think everybody got pulled over. Marcus got pulled over. You got pulled over.
Yeah.
I
But
got
nothing
pulled over.
serious happened. It
No,
was just
no, they
no
just-
fines or anything.
A lot of times it was
Yeah,
like,
everyone was
hey, I understand.
Yeah.
These are the rules and regulations. I'm going to give you a warning. Make sure that you complete this going forward.
Yeah.
And
y'all
then we
did.
learned and we made
did.
sure we were within compliance after that.
Exactly.
You heard it here first, camera people.
We were within compliance.
We
We were compliant,
We
dude.
were compliant.
Every time. You can check our logbooks. They're all good for
Yeah.
the
all
whole
good.
history of the show.
They're all good. Once we knew of the laws.
Yes, we did. We did.
How about you, Andy? What was your biggest challenge?
Gosh. I think some of the big challenges were just answering the call of the show and figuring out how to make things happen, right? We haven't had a lot of money to do this in the early days, and even now we don't have a lot of money to be able to
Well, and
just
that's
buy
important.
everything we've ever
We
wanted.
don't have investors.
Right.
We didn't get any
No
grants or
sponsors.
loans. The first $300 ad campaign went on my personal credit card.
Right.
And
And it's just been bootstrapped from day
We've been
one. This
bootstrapping
has
it.
been a completely bootstrapped thing. And it's through the blood, sweat, and tears of
these-
us and
yeah.
the employees and the vendors
yeah,
that we've gotten here. And so it's just like,
it's been a lot of
I think-
manpower.
I think figuring out how to make it work with the limited resources that we had has been the most challenging thing.
Yep.
Figuring out how to build things that maybe we don't necessarily know how to do.
Yeah.
You know,
Or we used
figuring
to have
out
the
the
storage
rules and
unit.
regulations of things.
Like the tiniest storage unit for like our 3 pieces of production.
Yeah. So it's just like that was a challenge. You didn't just have like everything you wanted production wise. Like I came from a world where, you had $1 million budgets to build out a show, and now I have $5,000 to buy to build everything I need. To go out on the road, and you're like, how do I make this work? And we figured it out.
We figured it out. Wow.
It was manpower, dude. That was the thing. I think that the 3 of us we saw what we had going on, and we were like, if we just show up and we do it, it's going to get better as it
Exactly.
goes
And
on.
this is all new to me too. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm learning as I go.
it's
And-
always been crazy.
Yeah. It's
So the 5-year party,
Yeah, let's talk about the 5-year party. What is it like? What are we doing?
we're going to Sterling Festival Field. Biggest,
Heck yeah.
biggest brewery in the state. Huge accomplishment for us. I'm so excited.
a little birthday
Outside,
party.
Free admission.
Free the last time we did a free show was Twin Cities Vintage Flea, our first ever show in the Familia parking lot.
No freaking way.
That was the first time. That was the last time and only time we've done
So
free
we're
admission.
turning up.
Yeah, so this is the one,
Turning
man.
up.
This is it.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody should come out. There's no reason not to. It's free.
Hundreds of vendors,
There's
free
beer there.
admission, live music, surly beer.
We're gonna have a skate jam from Familia.
Familia's gonna be there.
Yep, the crew's gonna be
Can
there.
Can's gonna bring some mini golf holes.
Can Wonderland.
Can Wonderland. Yep. The Twin Cities photo bus will be out there. They've been at a bunch of our shows here in Minneapolis. They're gonna bring the bus out.
Because
set
we're
up, you can
looking
get your
back over
photos
the
taken.
5 years, like who have we partnered with locally here that we want to bring back in, and that's Familia. You know, we wouldn't be here without Vinnie, Familia, Steve. So they got to come get some skaters out. Can they used to do the arcade back in those old school convention center days.
Oh man.
Yep.
So they're gonna come bring out some mini golf, and Twin Cities Photo Bus has been like the coolest bonus activity at the show ever. So
Yeah.
they're gonna come set that up.
Should be over 150 vendors.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna be out there in the sun, beer in my hand, soaking in all the good vibes.
It's just like
Oh, yeah.
You see me, say
July.
hi. If you see me, say hi.
you know, good party. Come out,
Middle
like
of
for
summer.
real.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick.
Saturday in July, Minneapolis, Surly Festival Field, beer, food, vintage.
We love it.
It's all the best.
Shout
you
out
know?
Wesley.
Come on out.
Shout
Yeah.
out Surly.
Shout out
Surly.
Surly. Yeah, it'll be sick. It'll be sick. And, you know, when you're working with someone like Surly, it's not easy to coordinate that. And it's something we had our eyes on for so long. And they were like, this is the day.
It worked out.
And we were like, we're doing that.
Yeah, we
we
had
got to
to-
do
Wow.
We like had to pair it on this certain, like we had like tight limitations on what we could do
Mm-hmm.
because of some of the rules and regulations around that field.
it. Yep.
And so
Yep.
there just so happened that there was this thing there's a thing happening on Friday there that we kind of had to coattail on.
Yep.
And this is the one they said works. So we were just like, well,
Hell
How to
yeah.
jump
5
on
years,
it.
Sunday outside or Saturday outside, like that's it. Let's do it.
Yeah, that'll be sick.
It'll be good.
And where are we going from here, y'all?
I don't know. To the moon. I don't know.
Totally
There it
rad in
was.
space.
I don't know what's next, guys. Like, we got Totally Rad Vintage Fest doing 30 plus shows per year. That'll probably continue, if not grow.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to new cities. Like, there's
GC
always
Vintage
places. You guys
Flea.
always bring up places where it's like, yo, can we go here? Can we go there? So
Yeah,
it's like, let's
NOLA.
go.
Coming for NOLA.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Atlanta.
Tell
us where to go.
us,
yeah, in the comments, tell us where to go.
Tell us where to go.
Yeah, Twin Cities Vintage Flea, you said.
Yeah, we're doing the local thing. We did that with the full Totally Rad brand last year, and it was kind of like clogging up the airways. So we separated it into two entities now. So you have Totally Rad Vintage Fest, the big touring show, and then Twin Cities Vintage Flea, which is the local pop-up. And that's looking like it's going to be really cool. And then I'm really excited, like, Marcus is the cool employee. We brought on Ainsley, she's rocking. We have Carson who helps on setup days. Like, I want to continue to grow our team. And like, just, I don't know, like in a way, I'm gonna get all freaking emotional, but like, it's been like Totally Rad has meant a lot to me because when I first started touring 11, 12 years ago and working on a dinosaur show as a kid who just wanted to do something cool and travel, it changed my entire life. So to be able to create a space and facilitate that same change for cool people is insane. So
And
that's
there's
what I
like-
want to
so
keep
insane.
doing.
It's cool because there's no like barrier. It's not like you have to be really accepted to a job or you have to like do
You don't need a
some crazy thing to
degree.
make it. It's like you gotta
Work hard
sell vintage and commit to the bit.
and commit to the bit, baby.
That's it.
That's
get in the
it.
car, right?
Yeah.
Like get in the car.
Yeah, you got to work hard. You got to want it. You got to be
Yeah,
hungry.
yeah.
And you got to be a kind, cool, and accepting person.
Yeah.
And we're able to facilitate that. And it's wild. I want to keep doing that. I want to keep impacting, I say young people, but I want to keep influencing young adults and impacting young adults to travel and see the world and challenge their way of thinking and
Yeah.
build their own independent entrepreneurial business. And maybe they don't do vintage forever, but what they learned about sales tax in Omaha, Nebraska is going to apply to whatever they go on to do next. So continuing to facilitate that change
Yes.
in so many young people is wild.
That
Yeah.
is-
And that's what I want to keep doing.
Yeah.
that sounds great.
Well, once you know, we talked about Totally Rad, that's reaching kind of like the limits on what we think it can truly do in a year. Twin Cities Vintage Fleet, new little project we're doing here.
Who knows what's next?
What's next? We gonna do another show or what?
I would love to start a podcast with vendors.
I think it would be a really cool addition to what we're doing already, right? Like it's a way to tie in, expand beyond the live in-person selling experience, right? Like get to know a vendor better. The attendees can listen to it. Other vendors can listen to it. It can be an exchange of information.
Damn, that sounds like a great idea.
I think it'd be really nice.
Shit. All right. Yeah, it's been freaking crazy, dude. I can't believe it.
That'd be cool. It'd be a cool thing to add. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it would be. I hope it's received. You guys make the determination, but I hope it's received well. It's been a crazy 5 years. We've gone a long ways. We've dealt with a lot of stuff. We've seen a lot of things. We've learned a lot of things. And like, this is where we are now. And
we got through it together.
Yeah, we got through it together, and
we're still here.
It's awesome to have this event coming up to be able to celebrate that. And I'm really excited myself to see where we go next. The sky's the limit. We have a great team. We have awesome vendors. We have amazing attendees. And I can't wait to see where we go from here.
Work hard, play hard, baby. And we gonna play hard at Surly Festival Field, July 12th. See you there. Bring it in. 1, 2, 3.
Totally Rad.